Oh, but we get on the curb, grinding on the curb a bit, going into the gravel that is behind it, and then into Brewery Bend. This is it, the final race of the original Team Lotus in Formula 1. It's the Australian Grand Prix 1994 at Adelaide, and while I think we gave Lotus a nice send-off with 5-point scoring results and a podium the previous race in Japan, we can still fight and enjoy this last ride with pretty much any pressure taken off. That can't be said for Ayrton, Senna and Michael Schumacher, who are still in the championship fight, although it is a big advantage for Senna, who leads the championship by 8 points, meaning just finishing 4th would already be enough to win it, regardless of where Schumacher finishes this race. In real life, this was once again a very controversial one, as Schumacher led Hill by 1 point going into this race, during which they famously collided and both didn't finish, so Michael Schumacher became world champion for the very first time. Hill, to this date, says this was deliberate, and while I say yes, it might have been cheeky by the Michael, I think Hill honestly should have just waited for the next corner. He was very late on the brakes there when Schumacher rejoined, and in my eyes it was a pretty ambitious dive, and in this case it was one clear movement towards the apex from Schumacher, not as it was 3 years later in Jerez, where he first opened the steering when he saw Villeneuve dive down his inside, only to react and crash into him on purpose. So I'd still give Michael the benefit of the doubt here, although this might be an unpopular call, and that championship has a sour taste with all the controversy that season surrounding Benetton and their rule-bending behaviour. But I'm sidetracking here. Ultimately, it was Mansell's last win in Formula 1 ahead of Berger and Brundle. We should not have much to do with the championship fight this time, although we split Senna and Schumi in Japan. All I want to do with the Zanardi is to finish this race and have some fun before the Lotus name disappears from F1, at least for some time. In the starting grid, it's already advantage Senna as he starts from pole ahead of his sole remaining title rival. For us, this is a pleasant surprise as Zanardi started this race in P14, his second best starting grid position of the season. So now, one final time, let's go racing in a Formula 1 season 1994 in Automobilista 2. Well, and here we are taking our grid position P14. Second street race of the season. Monaco didn't go well for us, we retired from that race. And here it's not a good getaway for a change. We get boxed in towards the pit wall there, losing 2 positions before we even reach the first corner. Then, turn 3, Wakefield. And this is... ooh. Looking very tight here with, I think that is Michele Alboreto in the Minardi ahead of us. We were alongside multiple times, but we can't find a way past, at least for the moment. This is still the longer version of Adelaide that they used in 1994. Penultimate race at Adelaide for Formula 1, at least, as we are now on the long straight towards the hairpin, the circuit's best overtaking zone, and we are slipstreaming the Minardi ahead of us. Or we decide to go for the outside, but we almost get caught out there by the curb, which launches us on into the air a bit. Very high curbs on this track, as now this time the Minardi gets caught out by it. We had our car alongside them, as we are now on the horse race track, which makes up the end of that lap, as we lose 1 position net in this first lap. But we are still moving on, and I must say I'm quite enjoying this track. We raced it once in these classic Formula 1 seasons, that was with our 1991 season, but back then it was a rain-affected race, it rained throughout, so this is a first racing on this track in the Jai. We did race the shorter version with our Car 2000 season, but I must say, this one is much more fun. Oh, as we almost get caught out there by a McLaren spinning. I think that might have been Mika Hakkinen, who was facing the wall then. So this is us back into P14. Green flags are waving again. So I think Hakkinen has recovered from that spin. But still, we are trailing those cars ahead. And I think this won't be such an easy race as it was in Japan, which I think is quite enjoyable actually, because Japan, it was ridiculous at some point. So we're back to some proper competition finally. As we reach another yellow flag. Couldn't make out why that was. Oh, but we get on the curb, grinding on the curb a bit. Going into the gravel that is behind it. And then into Brewery Bend. I catch a lot of that curb on the inside, and that catches us out. Big spin there, but we just keep it out of the wall. And I presume this is exactly what happened to Hakkinen 2 laps earlier. So we lose a lot of positions down to P18. And there goes Gianni Morbidelli in the footwork, also passed. So down to 19. There is an opportunity maybe into the hairpin. No, there isn't. So for the moment, we have to stay in 19th. And we had some more yellow flags. There are a lot of drivers struggling with this tight circuit with the walls so close and its high curbs. There is already a car that is a lap down, and we already had a car that made its way into the pits. This is Karl Wendlinger, who's already being lapped by us here in lap 5. We passed another car in the pit lane, so we're up to P18, and now we're getting a good run out of Brewery Bend this time. And we are past Gianni Morbidelli, but going into the braking zone. He gets back round our outside. Never going to work because, again, there is this high curb on the outside. And, yeah, you can just run people out of road, essentially, there if you have the inside. But let's look at our spin again. So it already starts here. Where I go over the curb, lose a lot of time. And then again, trying to make that time up. I get caught out by the curb on the inside this time. Half spin the car, but luckily we kept it out of the wall. There is a bit of a flat spot on our front right, and as you rejoin me in lap 15, you could tell that this flat spot has gotten worse and worse. That is, it always does pretty much, because, yeah, obviously, if you already have a flat spot, the tires tend to lock at the same place. So at this point, I was lacking grip in the left-hand corners, which isn't too bad because there aren't too many of them. But yeah, I was feeling vibrations in the car. Not Aston Martin levels of vibration, but definitely some vibration. And we were catching up to some cars ahead. You can see massive jump in time there. Was running pretty lonely until this lap, but you can see some cars in the horizon. There is some more lapped traffic ahead, and this could be an opportunity either for me to make up places or for chaos, or both at the same time. Let's look at it as we go into turn 1. There's a Minardi just ahead. I think this is Martini, Alboreto, definitely someone who is a lap down. Our teammate, we passed Christian Fittipaldi, so he isn't a lap down. We're up to P15 as we make our way past everybody. There is debris flying everywhere, and we have a safety car period, and this happened just behind us. We had nothing to do with it. Here is the replay. This is Eric Bernard whom we are following now. He's trying to get past our teammate, and then the Simtech, and he gets caught out by the exit wall there, going back onto, or getting closer to the track. He just misjudged it, and then, it's a heavy hit on the left rear. He flips his car, and unsurprisingly, he was out of this race. Luckily, all the other cars made it by, as we use this opportunity to go into the pits, get some fresh tires, which is very important, but also get some fuel, because if we refuel now with a full tank, we might be able to make it to the end, or pretty sure we're going to make it to the end if we save a bit of fuel here and there. Let's just try to stay on the lead lap. And I think we just did that. At least I thought so in the beginning. Somehow we weren't waved by the safety car, so we were almost a lap down now. Ayrton Senna is just behind us, the current race leader. And this is super annoying. I don't know why that happened, but the safety car caught me. They let everyone by, but me. I was the first car that they caught. And honestly, they just should have let me by, because now immediately I get shown the blue flag for Senna behind. But why didn't they wave me by? That was stupid. Now I lost a lot of time with that pit stop. I mean, the positive thing is we won't have to pit anymore in this race. Ayrton Senna wasn't in the pits behind us, so he will have to pit in the next 5-6 laps if we let him by, and we have to do so now. So if we try and stay with him and then hope for another safety car, maybe this neutralizes it and we can get back to the end of the queue. But now we're essentially almost a full lap down on everybody. Yeah, that's annoying, but I tried to not let anyone else by. But we were getting blue flags. These were now for Michael Schumacher behind us. He's still a bit back, so it's only blue flags flashing on and off. But now there is some more traffic which we could use to get more of a gap between himself and us. Schumacher has pitted, so if he laps us, even a safety car doesn't help us. But this is looking good, because we caught the traffic at a very, very good spot on the long straight to get by them. There's some more. This is a bit more of an unfortunate spot, but we get by easily as well, and I think Schumacher will have trouble passing them into this part of the racetrack. Next car again, we catch them on the pit straight. It's the Minardi that is, I think, already 2 laps down now. So I think that has gone well, and in the distance you could see another car. And this is the footwork of Gianni Morbidelli once more. And he is on the same lap as we are. So there is a chance to make up a spot. We lost out to him. He was one of the cars that didn't pit and therefore stayed on the lead lap. So maybe we should have done that as well. Strategic mistake, but yeah. Let's try and catch up to that footwork. And look at that, we are absolutely flying. Right now we are on the lead lap because Ayrton Senna has been in the pits and came out behind us, obviously. So we are back on the lead lap, if only just. But yeah, I can tell I was really enjoying myself now with the fresh tires. I was really flying around this circuit, one of the few good street circuits that we have worldwide, also in its modern configuration, but this time much better than the modern one. And look at that. On towards the long back straights. Once more we get past Morbidelli. Once more he tries it around the outside, being later on the brakes. But this time he just gives up and cedes the position. So, we made a move. We're up to P13. And still desperately trying to stay on that lead lap if there is a safety car. Once more, blue flags flashing. And this time, yeah, it wasn't... There was nothing helping me. In the mirrors you're able to see him. Michael Schumacher is just there. I think we have to give a request up now with, I think that's 7.5 laps to go now. Still trying. I was not much slower than Schumacher, but ultimately, when there was no traffic holding him up, he was gaining like around maybe half a second per lap. So I decide to let him by here. So if there is another safety car right now, that would absolutely not help us. So the new hope is to stay with him and try to overtake some cars that he will lap as well. And I think it was looking well. Again, flashes of blue flags as Senna was getting close again. Schumacher has gone off into the distance. But again, there is a small car visible to us. And this is the Tyrrell of Marc Blondel. And we were gaining on him. Oh, and look how much he's slowing down now. I think this is also because he's getting blue flags. But he didn't have to let me by. And Automobilista 2 shows these blue flags very, very early. Even if the car behind is multiple lengths back. So we say thank you very much. But this wasn't an overtake we had to fight for a lot. So yeah, I guess I take it. But yeah. Ooh, another yellow flag. Let's see what this is all about as we come around Wakefield. Oh, and there is a Simtech all across the road, luckily off the racing line and easy to avoid thanks to the yellow flags. So, also great that AMS2 or Razor got that flag system to work to warn you about stuff like that. This is amazing. Once more, we are gaining on some people ahead. So let's try and use these last 3.5 laps off this season, or actually it's only 2.5 laps because we are a lap down, to try and gain another position. I think the next car is a McLaren. So let's see if we can catch them as well. Yeah, you can clearly see it there. And immediately we are super close already here. It's Brundle. Oh, as we run into the back of that Minardi that tries to get out of the way for Brundle, but gets in our way. Then it's Johnny Herbert also holding us up. Ah, bit of a messy one there. But yeah, we are past. It wasn't that spectacular pass that I was hoping for in these last 1.5 laps now. As we're getting close to some more traffic. Wendlinger again. So now let's use these last moments here of the Lotus team in Formula 1 and of our 1994 season to reflect on that season and that race first. Today, I think a very good result was possible. I mean, 11th is still good, considering we are in a... I think it could have been much better. The pit stop 1 lap longer until the safety car would have caught the race leaders and then pitted. Because I think then I would have stayed on the lead lap and I would have been able to do much better this race. So yeah, that is, I think, a strategically false call there by me. But still, it was a very enjoyable race. Great track, Adelaide, as I've already said. I was really enjoying myself. And yeah, fits these cars amazingly. Had so much fun with this one. And the whole season altogether. And I think we did really well, as I already said with at the beginning of this race or video. I think we put some honor on the Lotus name. 5-point scoring results. We scored in Barcelona, Hockenheim, Spa-Francorchamps, Jerez, and in Japan it was even a podium. Although in pretty strange circumstances, but hey, a podium's a podium. P2. Didn't think that was possible. And I think we pretty much finished as high as we could in that season in the championship as we come around the final corner. And we say goodbye to the Team Lotus, finishing P11 in the Australian Grand Prix 1994. And one last time, let's look at the point scorers today. Schumacher wins it, but it won't be good enough to win the championship as Senna comes home second. Hill completes the podium. Barrichello, for the 4th time this season, finishes 4th. Unlucky guy in his Jordan, but what a season it has been for him. And here is confirmation in the Drivers' Championship. Senna wins ahead of Schumacher, who closes the gap. 4 points. Still not good enough. Hill 3rd. Alesi hangs on to 4th. Berger is 5th. Häkkinen in 6th. And then it's Barrichello, best of the rest. We're 8th. Double digits. I think this is more than we could have expected before the season. So, yeah, I think we can be really happy with this. As I already said, we beat Jos Verstappen, who was in one of the better cars, and then it's Olivier Panis, Bernard, and Brundle, and Wendlinger, the only other driver that has scored down in 13th. Tough luck for Frentzen, Blondel, and Irvine, who all finished 7th at least once. But yeah, 7th is not good enough for a point. And here are the Constructors' Championship results. Williams clear of everybody. Benetton was pretty much a one-car effort, but they still managed to hold on to second. The 2 Ferraris didn't score enough in the last 2 races to do anything about that. And then quite the gap to McLaren, which also pretty much was a one-car effort. Same goes for Jordan and Lotus, but I think these are good results for these 2 teams. And then DG and Sauber, the only other teams that have scored. Tyrrell, the most unlucky one, I guess. They were close so many times, but yeah, they just didn't manage to crawl into the top 6. And that has been it, not only with the Australian Grand Prix 1994 in Automobilista 2, but the entire F1 1994 season that we've done in this game. But don't worry, a new season is coming up already 2 weeks from now. So subscribe, don't miss that. Leave a like if you did enjoy this video, and I hope to see you all the next time. Until then, goodbye.